Aloha, my love. Helena Das here, and today's video transmission conversation wants to be called Fly Higher, Aim Higher. And this is coming from several different places for me recently into this one golden thread of rising higher. And so to start off this conversation, I want to share with you about a story, a fable about the eagle and the crow. Now, you may or may not be familiar with the story. I was recently reminded of it the other day, and I thought it would be a really powerful story to share, reshare with you around not only the wisdom and the superpowers of eagle medicine, but to inspire you to kind of rise above anything that might be going on for you that feels like an obstacle, that feels like the opponent, that feels like resistance. If it feels like something's attacking you or someone, this message is for you. Okay, and before we dive into that story, I also pulled my very ancient medicine card book. And interestingly, Eagle was the very first card, number one, which is all about leadership and new beginnings and initiative and really being that powerful initiator and sovereign authority of yourself and your life. And what I was reminded of, because again, I haven't looked at these in quite some time, and actually this is the very first deck, I have to say, that I met and ended up purchasing when I was in vet school. I used to go to this little, I don't even know if it's there anymore, up in Ithaca. I went to Cornell, and they had this little new age bookstore. Can't remember what it was called. I think the Alexandria bookstore. Anyway, I used to go, they had a little place where you could look at their books and, you know, hang out and read and whatnot. And I used to go, they had that's where I discovered this. And I would go there often and pull cards. And anyway, so this is my introduction to I guess tarology. I don't know what you want to call it, the tarot or oracles or divination. Anyway, I want to share with you from the Native American perspective, which is what the lens through which this book and deck are about, around what eagle medicine is, which makes this whole conversation, I think, even that much more powerful. And that is, the eagle is connected to the Great Spirit, okay? And I'm going to just read you a couple of pieces I've highlighted here. The beginning says, eagle, fly high, touch Great Spirit, share your medicine, touch me, honor me, so that I may know you too. And so, of course, when we think about, you know, rising high, there's this expansiveness and eagle eye vision and zooming out, right? Looking at the big picture, all of these qualities that we can think of with the eagle. It's also said that the feathers of the eagle are considered to be the most sacred healing tools and have been used for centuries by shamans to cleanse the auras, okay? Let's see, broaden your horizon, fiercely attack your fears. There was one piece I wanted that I thought was really beautiful. Conquering your fear and the willingness to join in the adventure when you're that you are co-creating with the divine. So really, to me, it's about connecting with your higher mind, your higher self, a higher power, right? And eagle teaches you to look higher and touch grandfather sun with your heart, to love the shadow as well as the light, to see beauty in both, and you will take flight like eagle. Eagle medicine is the gift we give ourselves to remind us of the freedom of the skies. Eagle asks you to give yourself permission to legalize freedom and to follow the joy of your heart's desires. So if you found your way here, chances are there's something in that message for you. And so to go back to the story about the eagle and the crow, what is fascinating is that when the crows are known to actually like attack eagle and like land on their back and attack them and peck at and bite at their neck. And the eagle, what does the eagle do? Because the eagle is naturally gifted and designed to really fly at super high altitudes that actually the crow cannot do as well or as competently or capably. And I don't know, is that a word? Anyway, and so what happens is the eagle just keeps flying higher instead of trying to waste energy fighting back its opponent, the crow. It simply keeps rising. It keeps rising higher and flying higher to these higher altitudes till eventually the crow cannot handle those higher altitudes and falls away. And so again, I think that message that's coming through today, if you found yourself here, if there is something in your life or someone in your life, or even within yourself, like that, you know, the battle, the enemy, the opponent, the resistance, the fear, the doubt, if that is going on for you in some area of your life, the message is to rise higher, is to fly higher, to aim higher. And I want to bring in one more piece. Like I said, this message has been coming to me from a number of different angles to share. And the other is we recently had that really powerful blue moon in Sagittarius, that full moon in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, of course, is the sacred centaur. I don't know, have I shown you my sacred centaur? Let me see if I can grab it. Okay. I don't even know where I got this, but anyway, the sacred centaur with the archer with the bow and arrow, okay? And so, I don't know if you know anything about archery. When I first heard this, I was really intrigued because I don't know anything about archery. But as I understand it, when an archer is shooting his bow, and if you notice, like it's aiming high, right? When an archer is shooting its bow and aiming at its target or its vision, if they simply aim like horizontally towards their target, right? The chances are they will fall short because the trajectory of the arrow arches, hence archery, right? The arrow, it doesn't flow linear, okay? And in a straight horizontal line. It actually flows in an arch. And if you actually want to hit the target, the bullseye, you need to aim a little higher so that when it reaches it, because it is going to fall lower, that way you'll hit your target. I hope I'm making sense and explaining that clearly. But for me, the metaphor of aiming higher, when I first heard this a few years back, is so powerful. And I know that for me personally, the idea of like aiming higher and raising our standards and allowing yourself to dream big, right? Legalize the freedom to pursue or follow the dreams on your heart, as Eagle is saying. When we do that, not only are we going to enjoy the ride more, regardless of the outcome, because being detached is also part of the game, if you will, that we're playing here in this 3D realm. But when you are allowing yourself to fully go for it, right? Like to be all in, to let your life be the arrow. The arrow for me being that alignment in body, mind, and spirit, right? The coherency and the congruency that the horses are always teaching us. When you allow yourself to do that versus playing small and maybe aiming lower for something that feels more comfortable or safer or more doable or in your reach, as opposed to, again, aiming high, raising your standards, letting yourself dream big. When you actually do that, again, not only are you more likely to hit your target, right, and not fall short of the bullseye, like keeping your eyes on the prize, but what I've noticed for myself, the times, whether this is maybe even like with different, let's say, content creation or offerings that I may have put out there, or even like, copy, sending an email or a post or doing whatever. When I am playing small, when I am maybe trying to dim, not necessarily consciously, but sometimes we're so conditioned to do this, right? It's a new muscle to really unleash yourself, and a process, and I'm a work in progress. But when I allow myself to, unleash that my authentic self and aim higher and follow my heart and follow my dreams, right? There's more energy behind it. There's more wind in my sails. There's more passion and fire, right? And so again, we're getting to enjoy the ride, instead of being focused on the destination. But when I have done the opposite, when I look back at the times that I didn't allow myself to go for the things I really, really wanted instead of the things I should want, right? And settling for what I think is more realistic or doable. When I did that, not only did I fall flat in terms of results or outcomes, but like it just wasn't fun, right? Like it was more of that slog up the hill. It was more, took more effort and energy, as opposed to allowing myself to co-create and soar with spirit, right? As the eagle is reminding us to do. And when we are connected to something greater, a higher power, our higher self, the God of your understanding, divine source energy, infinite intelligence, whatever words resonate for you, when we actually allow ourselves and consciously, intentionally do that and connect with and co-create with, it's just like a win-win all the way around. It's so much more magical. It's so much more easeful and graceful. I mean, I'm not saying, life is going to happen. However, when we do that, we're allowing ourselves to also be supported and surprised by something, even greater and more magical and wild than maybe we can even imagine, because I believe that God always has a bigger plan for us than we can even maybe come up with on our own. And right, so that's saying this or something better, right? That when things maybe don't go as planned, when you don't hit that goal, when you don't manifest the job, whatever it is, there's always something better. And to kind of pull this together, I have found that when I aim higher, not only in terms of connecting and co-creating and aligning with my soul and source, but also that in essence, what I just said is actually our desires, because I believe that God, source, gives us our desires, and our desires are actually that like glimpse or preview into a potential next timeline if we choose it. We always have free will, right? And so for me, it's almost like a directional, a divine sign from God. Like, your desires are divine. Your desires are given to you by God. Your desires are the sign. Like, you are the sign. You don't have to wait for the feather. You don't have to wait for, the right card to be pulled. Like, your desire is the sign. You are the sign, okay? And when we can really plug into that and align with that and be all in, that's when the magic happens. And so, to share probably one of my most favorite stories that really exemplifies this, and I come back to time and time and again because it's so precious and so sacred for me. It is the, let's call it, manifestation of my beloved Indigo into my life back at a time, we're going back in late 2008, when I found him. And I don't want to go into the full story here because we're already at 16 minutes, but let's just suffice it to say I often call him my dream horse come true, because when I discovered him on this online classified site, it's called dreamhorse.com. I don't know if you're familiar with it. When I found him, like, I immediately fell in love with him. His picture, the ad jumped out at the page, and everything, the description that I read about him, like, it just felt like, I got chills. And then I saw the price tag. And then, my human self said, I can't afford that. He's out of my, price range. I don't have that kind of money. I've never spent that kind of money on a horse or anything for myself before, other than like a vehicle or, maybe down payment for a home or whatever. But I have, it was like this huge thing that I was initially when I found him. And to kind of fast forward, I let myself dream anyway. I let myself reach out and talk to the owner. I let myself go meet him and visit him. And long story short, it all just unfolded in such a way that without me even asking, his previous guardian, said she loved how he was with me. She said he was quiet with me and she really wanted me to have him. And without me even asking, she asked me if a payment plan would help. And I never told her that I didn't have the money, like it never even came up. And so, again, dream horse come true, because I released the how. I was detached to the how, but I allowed myself to dream big. I allowed myself to follow my heart, and surrender the how to source. And so, anyway, for some reason that story wanted to come through today. I think I've shared it in a couple other places, but it's always so precious to me, and to me such a beautiful example of that co-creation with source and that divine alignment when we are truly allowing ourselves to follow our heart, right? And legalize freedom as the freedom to follow your heart, that free will, that to not only follow your heart, but not have to know the how, right? To surrender that part to source, but you still take the inspired action, right? Like I still called her, I still did all the things, but I had no idea how I was going to actually pay for him. And so, anyway, with that being said, I feel like this is a great place to wrap things up. I hope you enjoyed today's message. I do want to let you know about an upcoming series that wants to come through around leveling up your leadership, your guardianship, and your partnership with horse through the elements. And so stay tuned for that, coming soon. And And otherwise, if you're still here, don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the love. Leave a comment. Let me know how this landed. Let me know what's on your heart today. Like, how is your heart, and what is that desire that you are going to give yourself permission to follow and co-create with spirit. All right, until next time, ciao for now, namaste.